Hey everybody, Black Ninja 797 here, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are once again going to be doing another Left 4 Dead ranking video, but this video is going to be slightly different than the normal Left 4 Dead ranking videos. So let me explain. There's a couple things I need to point out. Number one is that this is going to be a Left 4 Dead ranking based off of custom maps. So this is not going to be based off of any of the official Left 4 Dead content. This is just going to be on fan content. So that is going to have probably a little bit of a different ranking system, honestly, than usual, but I'll explain that later throughout the video. And the other thing I also want to point out, by the way, is that this list, obviously, I cannot cover 100% every single custom map, and that's going to be the case for any other mod-based ranking videos I end up doing. There's always going to be stuff being added, and there also might even be stuff that gets removed. So this is going to be personally just based off of custom maps that I have only played. I am not factoring in anything I have not played before. So you guys have seen all the gameplay for all these maps on my channel at some point. The videos are going to be available on my channel if you ever want to check them out. But yeah, guys, we're going to be ranking all the custom maps in Left 4 Dead that I have specifically played. I'm going to be ranking this off of my personal experience and how I think that the map is unique / fun, how difficult it is, and also in general how long or short the campaign is. Because obviously if it's going to end up having those factors involved, I'm pretty sure that makes it a fair list in my humble opinion. If you guys end up enjoying this video, as always with all my Left 4 Dead ranking videos, please show your guys' support at the end, of course, by dropping a like, comment, and subscribe. Obviously do it at the end when you've seen the whole thing, but I just want to give it a friendly reminder. But anyways, guys, let's rank all the Left 4 Dead custom maps that I have personally played from worst to best. Alrighty, so there's going to be 13 maps on this list. So coming in the number 13 spot, or at the very dead last spot, this is going to be Indys Rotaract Christmas Edition, which is the gameplay that you are seeing on screen. So this is the Christmas map that I played for you guys back at the end of last year. And this map, in my particular opinion, is the worst one that I played. Now, I can guarantee you this, there's probably a worse map out there. In fact, I have played worse. But I personally just don't really care for this particular custom map. This map was extremely prone to bugs, even in the 1.3 version that this guy clarifies that it is, which makes me wonder how buggy the originals were. And I will say this guy definitely makes a map much better than I could. I haven't done any custom maps before. I've messed with code once or twice before in my free time, and trust me, it's a lot harder than you may think it is. So I'm not just blindly talking crap. This is definitely a lot better than personally what I would do. But however though, this map definitely is completely and utterly filled with bugs and glitches and still needs to be looked at. So I'm not saying that the map is 100% trash, but it definitely, because of the bugs, ruined the map honestly for me. And the one chapter was honestly confusing as hell because it was just reused assets all over the place, so you can never really tell where you're trying to go and felt like a maze. So if I had to rank this map in my humble opinion, I would probably say from 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, I probably would give it like a 3. It's really, really buggy, and it personally wasn't able to keep my attention, but that's just particularly me. You guys can check out the video for yourself and be the judge of that. Alrighty, coming in at the next spot, this is going to end up being the campaign called Dammit. So for Dammit, this is supposedly supposed to be a cut map from Left 4 Dead 1. I believe that I remember subscribers saying that this is supposed to be a map that takes place in between Dead Air and Blood Harvest. And if this is genuinely a cut map that was made into a modded map, I'm glad they cut it. Because to be perfectly frank with you, I don't like it. I understand that this might disappoint some of you guys, disappoint some of my subs in general that may or may not like this map. But for me personally, it's not my cup of tea. I don't like the way it's laid out. I don't like the fact that there is still bugs on this version. It might have been just the specific developer that ported it over or maybe made the thing. But it felt very difficult. It felt extremely buggy. And for me personally, I just don't like it. It has no character to it. You know, like with all the other Left 4 Dead 1 maps, you've got No Mercy, which is spooky as hell and ominous. Death Toll still has that same vibe. Dead Air, personally, it didn't really have that much of a spooky vibe, but the map was in general very fun. But Blood Harvest is a very good example of a map that can relate to this. If this map was in Left 4 Dead 1, it would be very similar to Blood Harvest, where it just doesn't have a character and it's just boring, and I don't particularly like it. Not to say that the map isn't good or anything, it definitely has its moments. I think that there is moments that is good in every single custom map, but for the majority of the campaign, I was mostly bored is the word, and disappointed I probably would say is a second. I went into it expecting something and I didn't get that, so that unfortunately was kind of a buzzkill for me. But at the end of the day, there's always room for improvement. There's nothing stopping somebody from making this map better. And I have seen different versions of it before, and there is a worse version out there, trust me. So this one's a lot better. But yeah, guys, I'm personally going to rank it down here. Let me know what you think. Alrighty, coming in at the next spot, this is going to be a map that I've played recently, and this is going to end up being Lockdown. So for Lockdown, this is the second newest map that I made a video on, and I personally just think it's okay. I played this map before in the past. You only remember comments from me in the video talked about how I was like, oh, this seems familiar, or I must have played this before, and I did. And so this was my second time playing the map that you saw in the video. And I will say this, is that you thought I was confused in the video. Imagine when I played this map for the very first time. There was times in this specific campaign where I would be on a certain chapter, and I would be lost for like literally an hour. I tried looking up videos, and unfortunately, since custom maps aren't as well known as official content, there's no guarantee that you will find a sufficable guide where you actually know what you're doing. So for me personally, the map was complicated to figure out at first. It gets better over time once you know it, but it still is a tad confusing at times, which just generally gets annoying. It's like I feel like I'm always getting lost, especially if I haven't played the map in a while. So I'm worried that if I don't play it, then I'm losing it, but the problem is, though, is I don't want to play it because it's boring. So, like, the map is boring enough that I don't want to keep playing it. Even though it does have its moments, I like how there's the Left 4 Dead 1 crew walking and following you around, helping you throughout the campaign, but that's really all it's going for. It is a mixture of nostalgia and the fact that it functions. It's not the worst map, it's not prone to as many bugs as the other few maps, but it's just not personally my favorite. It was just okay, that was all it really was. Alright, coming in at the next spot, this is going to end up being Lego Left 4 Dead. So with Lego Left 4 Dead, I actually did enjoy this map quite a bit up until the end where the finale hit. So this is a 3-chapter map, so it's not necessarily the longest, but it's at least more than 2. And in fact, it's more than sometimes where you get only 1. But in my opinion, I feel like that the map is pretty decent being at 3 chapters. But the problem with it is the finale. This is a different version of the map. There is a previous version which was prone to more bugs, the developer said. And the last step, or the finale, is very confusing because on your way to the finale room, there's a specific room. You guys will remember this, but I specifically remember going into a room, and the only way that you can end up proceeding is if you wait for this door. And the problem is, though, is there's no indication whatsoever that there's a door that you gotta wait for. So you're walking, and then all of a sudden you got a roadblock. Nothing happens, you can't proceed. And there's no indication whatsoever that you need to sit there and wait. So you think your game's bugged. And eventually, after finding out via a video, that I realized that you have to sit there for a certain ungodly amount of time. I think it was like 6 or 7 minutes, it felt like. You can finally go past this door that opens up, but you get this very big frustration issue of being like, unless you know this going into it that you gotta wait, you're gonna think your game is broken every time and probably end it every time before the door's ready and be in this infinite cycle, and you might just end up uninstalling the map. That's my biggest gripe with it. The campaign is pretty solid up until that point, but I can see for a newcomer where that would be basically like the most frustrating thing on earth. Alrighty, coming in at the next spot, this is going to end up being Left 4 Mario. So Left 4 Mario is a very well done map. I personally really like this, and this was the very first custom map that I ever ended up playing for a video, and this was really well done. I like how that there is certain interactable things you can do, such as shooting the random boxes and it drops stuff for you. I like that. There's certain maps in Left 4 Dead and where instead of it just being the normal formula, they break from it and they'll put in certain game mechanics that technically don't exist, and that's just really, really cool. I like how that it did that in here. It was a decent amount of chapters, decent amount of difficulty. Really, when it comes to difficulty, it's really just subjective because the devs always have to rescale everything from scratch. Because you could play on normal mode, but every dev is going to end up making their normal mode like slightly different. Someone's normal mode may be easy mode, or actual normal mode, or advanced mode. and it really can just be dependent on the factor of just the feel, I guess you can say, rather than the actual difficulty slider or difficulty picker. But yeah, the map was relatively decent in terms of how it's difficult, and also just in general how it's paced. I wouldn't necessarily play it again right now, it's a little too soon, plus also I just don't really have the eagerness. But I will say this is one of the few that I feel like I actually would play again. This is where you're starting to get into the maps that are actually fairly decent. Alright, next we've got Dead Vacation. So for Dead Vacation, this map was actually pretty alright. I love especially how on the end, like, all hell breaks loose, but at the same time I hate that. So let me explain. So the ending is probably the best part of this whole entire campaign. You basically have like a No Mercy style ending where you gotta wait for a helicopter, but there's two big things. The one thing I really do like is the fact that there is a giant building collapse at the very end, and the building that you're standing on basically gets destroyed. But the one thing, other than the beautiful cinematics that produces, the big thing that I don't like about this campaign is that that thing can kill you, and it's very likely going to kill you. It's not like it's a low percentage. It's probably like, yeah, 50-50. And also the helicopter is really, really picky. The helicopter that comes to pick you up doesn't have any good reach advantage. You actually have to get the jump literally and utterly perfect. Otherwise, you will fall and immediately die. And if you're not playing with friends, that means you start the whole finale over again. So my biggest gripe with the finale is that you're really pretty much fine all the way up until the very end. The building collapsing at the last second can kill you, and missing the helicopter jump will kill you. And any time that you do that, you're going to start the whole entire campaign over, at least for the finale part, and for me, that just frustrates me at the end of the day, and I really wish that that wasn't the case. It's easy up until that point, but you'll get really frustrated fast if you're not knowing what you're doing. Alright, coming in at the next spot, this is Devil's Mountain. So Devil's Mountain's actually really cool. This was one of the first few that I ever played, because you'll see that this is old gameplay of my stuff from when I was playing it for the very first time on stream/video, and I didn't have a face cam at the time. So Devil's Mountain is a really well done map. I personally like this. This is where you're starting to get into the very, very, I would say, solid maps. This isn't number 1 or 2 by any means, but it's definitely very okay and pretty solid. It's definitely, I would say, up there. I would give it an average rating. I probably would give it like a 6 out of 10. And as far as I'm aware, there's no bugs. I couldn't personally find a bug or anything that I was going to say noteworthy about this that was considered a problem. All I remember about this map is I enjoyed the finale a lot. I really like a map when it has a good finale. That's a big thing for me as much as a solid beginning. But yeah, the finale was pretty solid. I love the like medieval castle that you almost kind of hang out on. And I enjoy the pacing of it. It feels like a very Left 4 Dead 1 style map, despite the fact that it's not really officially a Left 4 Dead 1 map. It's actually a Left 4 Dead 2 crew map, believe it or not. So if the Left 4 Dead 1 crew is on, it probably would be a little bit more fitting. But I'm not going to be that picky. The map is overall just solid, and I would say that after this point onward, we're going to start to get into the much better maps. But it's based off of perception and based off of how I personally feel, so who knows. Let's just wait and see how I feel about it during the middle of recording the video, because things can change like that. Alrighty, coming in at the next spot, this is Looney Park. So yeah, this is where I would say that we're starting to get more into the memorable maps and something that I would play again. Looney Park is very, very solid. Now, unfortunately, my biggest gripe with it is that it's extremely short. In fact, it's the shortest campaign that I've played so far, with it only being one single chapter. This was originally meant to be 2 chapters, which would basically tie it with The Last Stand and Crash Course. But the problem was, though, is that Part 2, even though it technically exists, it's actually cut. It just doesn't work. So, this map was originally going to be 2 parts, but it ended up only being 1. So, it's a really, really short map, but if you can get past how short it is, it's actually really solid. It's dark, it's gritty, but it's got this fun, spooky vibe about it that reminds you a lot of Dark Carnival, or at least for me in particular. It's like an evil Dark Carnival, as my video title originally suggested. This map is very fun. You get immersed in it right away, and I personally wouldn't have it any other way. And if the second chapter was going to be anything like the first one, it definitely would be a lot higher. But because of the fact that it's super short, I'm putting it lower. But yes, guys, I personally love Looney Park, and I highly recommend downloading this one if you have the time. It's a solid map, and it'll be a great 10 minutes that you'll play for your Left 4 Dead playtime. Alrighty, now we've got Precinct 84. I remember Precinct 84 very well. This one's very fun. So for Precinct 84, this is one of the few maps that I would consider Valve quality. Valve makes pretty solid maps, as we know, and for me in particular, this is, once again, a pretty solid map. I would say that if this was in Left 4 Dead on 360 and, like, replaced, for example, something like, let's say, Coldstream, it wouldn't surprise me. This is on par with something like Coldstream. It would have been a really good map to port over. I wish that there was more maps like this, but unfortunately, nobody is a perfect developer. And there's a few people out there in the modding community that make really good content, and I honestly would love to see them work with Valve and maybe do something like perhaps another DLC? Question mark XD? But yeah, guys, seriously, like, there's some developers out there, or just some modders that are on par with Valve's skill level, and they definitely deserve to make more maps, and this is one of them. The developer that made Precinct 84 knew what he was doing, and I personally really like the map. I like the ending with the fact that you're trying to escape via a cop car, and you gotta fill up the cop car with gasoline. That's cool. And I just overall think that this map is pretty solid, and I personally would definitely play it again. And my kudos to the mapper, and I'm looking forward to one of his future maps, hopefully in the near future. Alrighty, coming in at the next spot, this is going to be Daybreak. Or you could say Alcatraz, because that's literally what this map was when we played it. This is Alcatraz, essentially, or Mob of the Dead for Left 4 Dead 2. The whole entire premise of the map is that you are trying to escape and trying to end up getting to Alcatraz Island and get on a helicopter to beat the whole entire thing. That's the whole entire plot. You know that from the very beginning. And the idea behind the campaign is really cool. I love the idea of going to another Alcatraz or prison-style type of area. I love that about Call of Duty Zombies with Mob of the Dead. I enjoy Alcatraz movies in general. And the idea of Alcatraz is just perfect for a zombie apocalypse. And I really think that the ending is creative, although it's very, very difficult. Where you go to the finale, you are on Alcatraz Island, and when you're at the prison, you're trying to fill up a generator or like an area to get a helicopter to be able to escort you off the roof. But you're trying to get gas cans from prison cells where there's actually witches spawning. And you have to sometimes get them from the cells with the witch in them. So this is very difficult. The bots will tend to piss the witches off a lot, therefore getting them killed a lot of the time. And therefore you're going to be doing this majority of the time by yourself. So this is a pretty solid map. I love the vibe, I love the way it paces, and the ending is fun, although it be difficult. But I'm not going to beat up on it too hard, just because if I complained every time that was difficult, then we would never end up having a list. But yeah, guys, I love this map. Let's move on to the next one. Alrighty, we're starting to get close to the end, guys. So coming in at the next spot, this is Urban Flight. So Urban Flight was the one map that we ended up playing, where we ended up having the Witch Room. And if you guys know what I'm talking about, then you're a true OG, because that means you watch all my previous Left 4 Dead videos. And if you haven't gotten that reference, then definitely go check that out. But anyways, guys, basically this is the map with that crazy Witch Room. This is the map that ends up having the Gnome Depot. I love that running gag that was throughout the whole entire map. This map is very solid. It was very, very fun. It was nice and paced, and it was actually very enjoyable to play, and I definitely would play it again. It's on par with, I say, like, I want to say it feels a lot like what Death Toll kind of did. It felt like a nice city map, and it was honestly a little bit better than Death Toll. I personally would say that this map was a lot better than some of the Left 4 Dead 1 or Left 4 Dead 2 maps, like the crappy ones, and I would definitely love to have it fill in as a substitute. There's some maps in Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 that I just truly don't like, you know, and I personally wouldn't mind if this was like a Left 4 Dead 1 map and replaced, like, let's say, something like Crash Course, or if this was a Left 4 Dead 2 map and replaced something like Hard Rain. It's honestly very, very good, and I definitely put it very high up there on my list. Alrighty, guys, coming in at the number 2 spot, this is Suicide Blitz 2. Funnily enough, 2 goes at number 2. But yes, guys, this originally was one of my favorite, and probably was, at the time, my favorite custom map I ever played. This map is extremely well done. You end up playing on a map where your main goal is to end up getting to a giant football stadium, and that's how you escape. You try to plow through the football stadium and try to end up escaping with the military. It's extremely well done. There's custom weapons such as a foam finger melee weapon. I mean, like, come on, that's like extremely funny. And then when you end up getting to the end, the tanks are dressed up in football gear. That's super sick as hell. I enjoy the difficulty of the map, the pacing of the map, how long the map is in general, And plus also, if you go to the finale, if you do everything right, there is a completely full-on-fledged Portal 2 Easter egg that is extremely well done. It's so well done that you will think that this is a actual full-on Easter egg that was in here by Valve themselves. You cannot make this up. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look it up, because I didn't personally do it, but I might do it again in the future, where I end up playing Suicide Blitz 2 and try that Easter egg for the very first time. But yes, guys, I love Suicide Blitz 2, but I now have a new favorite #1 map, which we just played recently, and you're going to get a big kick out of. Alrighty guys, coming in at the #1 spot, this is Crash Bandicoot 2020. This map was so much fun. I'm so glad we played this recently, and I always love it when something tops my previous list. It's very rare that I end up having something that I truly end up enjoying get overthrown by something, especially if I don't know what it is. But that's the fun and beauty about it, is that it's always great to experience something for the very first time and be like, wow, this is so amazing, and then you look back on it being like, wow, that was so good, I'm already feeling nostalgic about it. You know, and it's especially also good when you play something and you know you're going to be nostalgic about it. That's how I felt about Crash Bandicoot. I was keeping my hopes somewhat in the I'm not sure zone, because I didn't know if I was going to be disappointed in case they had like a crappy finale or something like that. But I will say this, the Crash Bandicoot 2020 map that I played was extremely well done. Apparently it's based off of 2013 edition, but I've not played that one. But the 2021 version is so well done. It's extremely really fun. It feels like Crash Bandicoot, the game within Left 4 Dead. It feels like literally its own entity. It doesn't feel like I'm playing Left 4 Dead. It feels like I'm playing Crash Bandicoot, but obviously with Left 4 Dead elements. And it's fun. I enjoy that. I enjoy the fact that I can essentially play another video game for free through this guy's mod. It's amazing, it's extremely well done, and if you guys have not played this map or checked out any of the videos for any of these maps that I've listed so far, please do. You're doing yourself a justice by actually ending up going checking these maps out for yourself, and I highly recommend that you do so. But yeah guys, this is basically going to be it for today's video. I truly hope you guys ended up enjoying. If you did, please consider dropping a like, comment, and subscribe. I do apologize if I wasn't necessarily too peppy today. I am not sure if I am coming down sick or if I just have really bad allergies right now, because my throat's been sore and I've been feeling kind of tired lately, but I want to make sure that I busted my ass to make sure you guys got your daily double uploads, because you guys are important to me more than any illness would be. But yeah guys, I hope you ended up enjoying. If you guys did, once again, just please leave a like, comment, subscribe, support the channel. It goes a lot more than you think it does, and I forever am grateful. But yes, guys, I hope you ended up enjoying, and if you guys want to see more Left 4 Dead 2 custom maps, just let me know in the comments and tell me which one you would like to see. And yeah, guys, that's going to be it. I hope you enjoyed another YouTube video from the most unique YouTuber you guys are ever going to see. Peace out, guys. Sorry, guys, I'm really tired, as you can see.